Hi, it's Cara. Welcome to another reading vlog. Hopefully this won't get confusing because I'm kind of filming two at once, but for reasons, I guess. So in this vlog, what am I doing? We're going to be reading seven things. I'm starting the first one today. So the first one is A Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow. This is a siren story, more fabulism. And it's talking about violence against black people, as well as in the context of like violence against sirens in this story. What else is in this 7-book vlog? So if you saw my last vlog, we're doing a kind of like set of like, I think I'll do them in sets of 7, of like 7 2020 releases vlogs. So Some Blue Water is the first one for this vlog. We also have, I think we'll also be talking about The Sound of Stars by Alicia Dow and The Kingdom of Back by Marie Lu. Both of those I'll be listening to an audiobook, as well as A Song Below Water. And then we've got 4 physical reads. We have Network Effect by Martha Wells. This is a sci-fi. Take a Hint, Danny Brown by Talia Hibbert, a romance. And High Fire by Ian Colfer, which is a fantasy humor kind of thing. And then a book that is I'm going to listen along to while reading physically, and that is Empire of Gold by S.A. Chakraborty, which is the final book in the David Bader trilogy, which is super chunky. So we're going to read it over the weekend. It's currently Monday. My first vlog probably won't be finishing until later in the week, but I am starting A Song Below Water today, so actually I'm already like 100 pages in. So yes, because we're doing audiobooks. So those are the 7 books we're going to be reading in this vlog. They're a bit all over the place. We've got like some fantasy, some romance, some historical fiction, some sci-fi. Kind of a bit everywhere, but let's dive right into it. I'll talk to you about A Song Below Water a bit later. Alright, so it's 5:30 p.m. I've just finished work, did some folded some laundry, and placed my grocery order for tomorrow. And through doing all that, I've read almost 238 pages of A Song Below Water, which means I have about 50 pages left, but I'm going to leave that till tomorrow because I want to read some things physically. I am loving this. I love the characters. I think they're so interesting and well thought out. We're following Tavia and Effie. It's alright, I'm listening, so I just want to check. Yeah, Tavia and Effie, and Tavia is a siren, and in this world sirens are very much oppressed because of their power to, I guess, control people with their voice. So they're considered very dangerous, even though no one is like doing anything wrong, or very few sirens are doing anything wrong, but they're very much oppressed for that power. And most of them are also black, so there's a lot of intersectional issues here. Black women essentially are very oppressed, and so Tavia has lived her whole life pretending to not be a siren, and she doesn't want to be outed as a siren. And then her best friend and like adopted sister Effie pretends to be a siren at a medieval like Ren fair. She is like acting as a siren. And then basically the premise is that some famous people get outed or come out as being sirens. There's protests. Tavia accidentally, in a couple of situations, including one with being pulled over by police, and then at the protest accidentally unleashes her voice and people kind of outs herself to people, and how that then affects her life and things like that. And then Effie has a whole lot of things going on if she doesn't know her family, or she knows her grandmother, but her mother died and she doesn't know her father, so she's dealing with some issues on her end. But they're like best friends and like not blood sisters, and they have just a really strong bond, and it's really beautiful. I'm really enjoying it. The writing is super lush, super pretty. the characters are really introspective, but in a way that's just beautifully written. So I can't wait to finish this. I'm definitely going to finish it tomorrow, obviously, because I only have 50 pages left, and that won't take me very long. But I'm going to do that tomorrow, because for now I've got to switch over to some other stuff from my other vlog. But yeah, I'll come back to you tomorrow when I've finished that. Today is so cold. It's been snowing in parts of the state. And the sun is streaming through my window. Welcome to my life. I just finished reading the first book for this vlog, A Song Below Water by Bethany Seymour. I loved this. I ended up giving it 5 stars. It's probably like a 4.5. But I thought it was so beautiful. It didn't deserve anything less than being rounded up to a 5. It was just, the characters were gorgeous. And their friendship, sisterhood was beautiful. This world was super interesting. It's essentially like a modern day contemporary, but with mythical elements. Like creatures, so sirens. I think they're pronounced loco. But I can't remember. Sprites, gargoyles. I can't remember how they're pronounced. Loco? Yeah, it wasn't even on screen. El Loco. So all these different kind of creatures, and they're all trying to survive, and it's part of the intersectional oppression in this world. And it was just so well constructed. I think there were some elements I wish could have been expanded on a bit more. So the arc is primarily about Effie finding out who she is. But there's these subplots regarding a essentially like Black Lives and Siren Lives Matter movement. And I wish that had been expanded on a bit further. But like, it was so good. The writing is beautiful. The audiobook was incredibly well done. The world was amazing. I just loved this. Every little moment, it was just so beautiful. I just wish it had a little bit extra. But it's still getting 5 stars from me, fam. I'm so happy about this. It's just so good. I don't even know what else to say. Anyway, the next read for this book is another audiobook, because that's where we're at the moment. I'm going to start reading now The Sound of Stars by Alicia Dowd, and this is a sci-fi. I don't know that much about it, but I'm going to start listening to it now while I finish doing a bit of work this afternoon. And then, yeah, I'll update you. Okay, it's like a day later. I had my birthday yesterday, so I wasn't listening to an audiobook at all. But I'm about to do some work and dive into The Sound of Stars. What am I? I'm like 40 pages in. I'm like 45 pages in. Hoping to get through like maybe half of it today. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I got a bit of work to do that is an audiobook capacity kind of work for a little bit. So yeah, I'm gonna have a listen to this and then do my work. Yeah. I am also finishing off a bubble tea. I've discovered this new bubble tea place. It's called Bubble Bar. If you're in my area, it's so good. It was delicious. I wasn't in focus for any of that, but Hi, it's Friday. I was working last night, but today I did a little bit of uni work and got through some of Sound of Stars yesterday, I think. Through a bit of this guy. And then, I can't remember if I updated you on that, but then today I went to the shops and did a little bit of shopping. And while I was out, I've read about 50 pages of this, so I'm now about halfway through. My goal is to finish this over the weekend, just like touching it every now and again. I want to do some bullet journaling, so I'm going to listen to it while I do that. And I also want to play some Paper Mario, so we'll also finish it while playing some of that. So this I'm going to try and definitely get to over the weekend, but I don't think I will finish it tonight. And then The next book for this vlog I'm going to also start this weekend, and that is Empire of Gold by S.A. Chakraborty. I mean, it's now Friday night, it's 5 p.m. I'm gonna cook dinner in like half an hour. This I've started. I've read like a whole like prologue and a chapter, but I'm already really loving it. It is so chunky. This is gonna take me most of the weekend to read, but I have a relatively quiet weekend, so I'm hopeful that I can like slam through this. But like, it's 750 pages. It's a chunky boy, but we're gonna listen along to the audiobook on 3 times speed, and we're gonna try and zoom my way through this. I'm really excited. I'm really excited. Yeah, so I've just finished the first like actual chapter. So I'm on page 28. I'm happy because I can actually remember more of the previous books than I thought. So this is the 3rd book in the David Bad trilogy. And I was a bit scared I wouldn't really be in focus. I was a bit scared I wouldn't really remember what had happened in book 2, but I do remember, so good on me. I do really enjoy this trilogy. I liked the second one a lot more than I liked the first one, but I feel like the first one was just confused and I would have benefited from a reread. But I'm very excited to see where this finale goes. I'm very excited, but it is huge. So I'm going to update you with my progress over the weekend. And also my progress and hopefully finishing Sound of Stars. So it is Saturday afternoon. I have been reading for a little bit, but mainly what I was reading was The Sound of Stars. I was listening to this while I did some journaling stuff, and I am this far through. I don't have much left at all, but I'll probably finish it tomorrow, maybe later today. We'll see. I'm definitely gonna finish it this weekend, obviously. Probably I might finish it tonight while playing a little bit of Mario, but I don't know, we'll see kind of what happens. But there's not that much left. I think there's only like half an hour of the audiobook. There's like 40 pages. So I could just slam through it, read it physically, listen to the audiobook. I could, yeah, finish this pretty quickly. Yeah, there's about half an hour left, so I'm gonna find something to do and listen to that. And then I've been also working on The Empire of Gold, which I talked to you about yesterday. I ended up getting to the marker that I was hoping to get to, so I'm at page 160 of this, and I'm about to settle in to keep working on this. But I'd been, yeah, working on The Sound of Stars, but I have lunch on its way, and then I have like an hour before I have to go to work. So I'm going to work on this, and I'm in there at work for a little bit, so then when I come back I will keep working on this, and this is going to be my goal for like the rest of today, to get through the big majority section of this. I'm excited. I'm enjoying it so far. I do think these books, like, the pace slows down, and that was true for the first 2. There's like quite a bit of a build up to get to the end, and then the end is really fast paced, and then now that we're starting the 3rd book, it's slowed down again, but in a nice comfy way. And I'm liking the world building it's doing and the reflecting back on book 1 that it's doing, so that's really exciting to see, and I'm really interested to see how this ultimately plays out. So I'm enjoying it. The audiobook is nice, but I have heard that I think I heard from Fadwa that she couldn't get behind, I think this was the book that she was talking about, that she couldn't get behind. She loves the books, but she was trying to listen to the audiobooks and was struggling with the Arabic pronunciation. I don't know if it's like actually incorrect. Oh, that'll be my food's nearly here. Or that the dialect being used was different to what she was familiar with, so it graded on her. I'm not 100% sure. So that is something to keep in mind if you're familiar with Arabic. The audiobook might be not perfect. I'm unsure. But yeah, I'm enjoying this, and I'm interested to see how it progresses. I really want to see You can see where the plot's going, but I really want to see how it's going to build and the more twists and turns that are going to come in this book. Because for this to be 750 pages, surely there's more than just like concluding what's already happened. So I'm interested to see how that develops, and I will update you. Okay, so I've just come back from work. It's 6:30. I'm waiting for water to boil for pasta, but I just finished listening to The Sound of Stars by Alicia Dow. Should I tell you what this was about, or have I just been like updating you as I go, like how far my progress is? This is about a world, a near future, I guess, where the Earth has been taken over by aliens, and there was kind of a misunderstanding. This alien race essentially wants vacation spots, and normally they peacefully take over a planet, but obviously the humans fought back because they were scared about getting forcefully taken over. So they like fired the first shots, and so it became like a very forceful takeover. There's two main characters. We follow Janelle, who has a secret library that books and music get outlawed because they're like a place for rebellion. But she has a secret library. And then there's Mars, who's one of the alien race, and he's developing a vaccine to kind of like clear humans for an alien host. But he has a secret, and that secret is that he loves human music. And so he kind of discovers her little library, and then they kind of form a connection. And then ultimately it's a kind of race to, I think I'm running out of space, to sort out this vaccine. Yeah, so let's talk about my actual thoughts, not just what this is about. I liked the two main characters. I thought they were interesting. Obviously, Morris, the guy, he's an alien. And then Janelle is black, plus size. She has a chronic illness. She has hypothyroidism, and is demisexual, which I appreciated. That, like, I can speak to the demisexual rep, and I thought it was good. And the fat rep, which I thought was good. And yeah, so I really liked Janelle. I thought she was an amazing character. She really had growth and standing up for herself. To me, the things that let this down and made it not perfect were things that I think were kind of unavoidable with the premise. The kind of things that going into this, I was like, oh, that's gonna be corny. Like, to me, most aliens in a setting like this, like, very few alien books work for me. Like, it's so easy to tip into corny territory, and this was a little bit corny. And I think it's more about the balance between the serious, hard-hitting topics and the fun lightness of the relationships between the characters. Like, this is pretty dark on the subject matter, but it's treated a little lightly to mix with this kind of contemporary-esque romance, like, kind of feeling. So that kind of didn't quite sit perfect for me. I didn't like that the aliens all had numbered names. I find that's just a corny thing to do, but like, it's fine. You're listening to the audiobook, you don't really notice too much. And the only other thing I really didn't like was the ending. Not that I like hated it, but it just seemed very abrupt to me. We were building up to, so there's kind of the two arcs, the emotional character arc and the like fighting back against the evil aliens arc. And to me, the evil alien arc, like, this is a standalone as far as I can tell. And from my research, as far as I can tell, the alien arc gets cut off like halfway through. You're left with kind of an understanding of where it's going to go, but it doesn't really ever hit that climax, whereas the character arc is completed. So to me, I just felt kind of shortchanged by that lack of action in the actual like plot. Like, there wasn't ever an action moment. There was small like action scenes building up, but never the big climactic action moment. It was a big emotional climax. And yeah, that just kind of like, I felt a little shortchanged on that front. But the characters were so much fun. So I'm like, I think this is like a 3 stars, but a good 3. Like 3 stars to me can either be like had high expectations, didn't live up, or like just average. To me, this was high expectations, but it didn't quite live up to everything it could have been for me. So it's like a good 3 stars, if that makes sense. But then I don't know, like, I did really enjoy the characters. Like, is it a 4 stars? It's like a 3.5, but to be fair to a marginalized author, I think I should round it up to a 4, because it doesn't deserve, like, it's good. It doesn't deserve people to be seeing my 3-star rating and thinking it's not good. But I think this is good for fans of some of those, like, this is like the modernized, well thought out, diverse form of some of those books from like the 2012 era. They were about like the secret aliens and stuff. I can't remember the exact titles, but there was a bunch of alien books when I first started booktube in like 2012 that everyone was reading, that were a bit corny but like sweet and romantic. I feel like this is like, if you want those but in a modern setting that is diverse and well thought out, you want this. But it's just not my perfect read, so I think I'm gonna give it a 4 stars, because I think this is a me problem. This is just not my ideal type of book, but if you love that, you will love this. Okay, so I'm gonna dive back into Empire of Gold now, and I will update you at the end of the night with how far I get, because I want to get through like 300 pages, but I don't think that'll actually happen. Okay, so I'm about to head to work, but I thought I'd quickly update you before I do. I've been working that light on Empire of Gold. I have about 60 pages left. I'm gonna finish it tonight. And then next up was going to be another audiobook, and I was going to start listening to The Kingdom of Back, but it's been taken down off Scribd. I could always get it on Audible, but there was some reviews on Audible that said the audiobook wasn't that good, so I think I'll read it physically. So it's going to be our next physical read for this vlog. Yeah, I think we only have physical reads left now, because that was going to be my last audiobook, and obviously now we're switching to physical reads. So we've got like 4 more physical reads for this vlog. This is me keeping myself on track. But anyway, we're gonna start this soon. That's gonna be the next thing, but I will finish Empire of Gold tonight, and I'll tell you tomorrow my feelings about it. I'm really enjoying it so far. It is hefty, and I think if I wasn't reading the audiobook and it wasn't a weekend, like I've been listening along to the audiobook, I think it could have taken me a long time to read, because it does have some slower moments, but once the action kicked in, it was kicking in and I was loving it. I love all the character dynamics and the like actual like pain that people have to give up. It's good, some good shit. But yeah, I will give you my final thoughts on reading tomorrow. I need to get up, but while I'm lying here, I thought I'd wrap up this for you, because I did end up finishing it last night as predicted. It took me a little longer than I thought it would, so whatever. I just ended up like not as focused at work as I could have been, but I ended up really enjoying this. I settled on 4 stars, kind of because I think they're not issues, but they're just things that don't work perfectly for me that make it like not quite a 5-star series. And most of those are about the balance of different factors. So again, I don't think there's anything wrong with this series at all, except maybe the first book might have some like it has a very like start, transition, middle, second section that have very different like pacing, I guess, which is my like main critique of the first book. The second book is good from start to finish, and so is this one, except there's some balanced things that just aren't to my taste, I guess, and namely it's mainly around the balance of, like, this is huge,
but I feel like it has, for me, a little too much descriptions. Like, it's lush and beautiful and I enjoy it, but it really slows the pace for me. It's just a personal preference. I would rather less descriptions of the world in most books, and more speed through action. But like, it does a job. Like, it's there for a purpose. And if you like sitting for a bit and like you like a slow pace, I think this would be perfect for you. It just, yeah, slows the world down a little for me. And the writing style isn't like my absolute fave, but I love all the characters. I love the tension in the plot dynamics in the world. It's really good. Oh, the other thing that can make things confusing in book one is once you get to the second place, like to Daevabad, as the Daevabad trilogy, once the characters get to Daevabad, there's a lot of terminology dropped. And I found that confusing in book one. So, if you're into the series, I didn't do this, but I would almost recommend reading the first book, sitting on it for a while, reading it again, so hopefully some of those terminology and understanding has solidified itself better, and then continue the series. Because I found book 2 or 3 and 3 not so confusing with the terminology, but book 1 really got me. Because there's like interchangeable terms used in different ways, and I just had a hard time keeping track of how things were being referred to, and I was constantly having to look back and try and pass it out from the like indexy stuff at the back, which dragged me out of the story in book 1. But that's not the case in book 2 and 3. Like, it all solidifies itself much better. It's easier. It's got better flow. Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't let that put you off from continuing on, I should say. But yeah, this ending was so good. Some plot reveals that I was like, oh yeah, I thought that was obvious. But like, in a way that they weren't obvious. I just mistakenly assumed stuff. And then, the tension I thought was really, really good. It developed in a great way. Hi, cat. It's that's my cat. It's high stakes. The ending is high energy. It's just like, it doesn't pick up in pace till like the last maybe 100 pages, 200 pages of a 750 page book. But that's fine. It needed all that build up for it to make sense, so that's fine. This is what I mean. Like, it's just not to my taste rather than like that. But yeah, I loved the characters. Something that is really important for me, especially in fantasy, is, I talk about this quite a lot, is the tension and stakes of like, there was no other reasonable action to take. This was the only option. Another thing I think that slows down the pace a little bit is that the characters spend a lot of time talking out options and things, like politicking out what they're gonna do. But like, this is adult fantasy, like that's more common here. You're allowed to spend that time, whereas I feel like in young adult we get really used to boom, 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 like nobody has time to think about their decisions because they're going straight for it. Whereas this was a lot of like, let's just sit back, take our time, think it through, which does slow down the pace, but leads for really interesting discussions and good moments. There were some really fun, poignant character action moments in this. And yeah, I just really loved how everything played out. Nothing was perfect. There was no grand sweeping romance. It was just like so good in that regard. In characters, it was perfect. Yeah, I think it's just a pace thing, and not a it's got poor pacing. You know, the pacing was not to my taste, but that's fine. I would definitely recommend this series. I think it's got a lot to offer, and the world is really lush and vibrant, and the plots are really interesting, and the character work is top notch. So that's my final thoughts. It's a 4-star, but it's like a high 4-star. It just was missing that something for me. Like, it wasn't perfectly to my taste to make it a 5-star, but none of the series has been. Like, I've always been like just holding back from a 5-star for the series. I might have given book 2 a 5-star, but I would have been high rating then, whereas I'm much more hesitant to give out my 5 stars now. So that's where we're at.
Okay, so it is been a couple of days, I think, since I uploaded this vlog, so I've been working on some other things. It's now Tuesday, the 11th of August, and I'm 120 pages into Kingdom of Back. I've just put it in my, what is this? This is a book sleeve to take to work. This is by Marie Lu. Kingdom of Back by Marie Lu. It's a historical fiction fantasy following Mozart and his sister, primarily his sister. His sister's the protagonist. And I am enjoying it. It's very interesting. I'm loving all the historical stuff, and the music stuff is done pretty well, in my opinion, as a musician in a past life. I mean, I haven't played for years, but I played piano, clarinet, saxophone, and guitar in a past life. Bit of ukulele. I haven't played ukulele in a long time. I don't even own a ukulele anymore. But yeah, the music stuff I think is being done pretty well, and in an interesting way. I'm interested to see how the fantasy elements play out in relation to the historical elements. And the fantasy arc is making more sense currently than the historical arc, because I'm not super familiar with Mozart or his sister's life. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. But yeah, I'm currently enjoying it. I'm hopeful to get to like page 200 tonight before I go to bed, and then finish it tomorrow. So like slam through it in like, I don't know what, 24 hours. Is like, because it's only 300 pages, not very long. So we're gonna try and do that, so I'll update you tomorrow. So I finished reading The Kingdom of Back today. I didn't finish it last night, like I mentioned I was trying to do, but I finished it this morning. Well, actually this afternoon. I got about halfway through last night, just over halfway, and I finished it today. It's only 8 PM and I finished it a little back. I ended up giving this 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I love the cover more now that I understand the like meaning behind the different stuff on the cover, which is fun. I thought this was really well thought out and constructed, but it kind of fell into the trap that some historical fictions do, and it's like the one flaw I think this has, in that to keep historical accuracy, historical events are not always dramatic. Well, they are, but not in ways of like pacing and movement forward in the plot. So there's like, we're following in the Mozart siblings' childhood, teens. They're traveling Europe playing for people, and that kind of got repetitive, but like it's historically accurate, so like you can't fully critique it, but that got repetitive. So other than that, everything else in this was really well thought out, I thought, and it was really well written, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, 4 stars. I'm now going to sit down and start Network Effect by Martha Wells, which I'm hopeful to fly through because I love Murderbot. This is the first full-length Murderbot novel, but it's the 5th in the series. The rest were novellas, which I listened to on audiobook, but I'm going to read this one physically. I'm super excited. It's the kind of sci-fi I like. I'm really fussy with sci-fi. I found I can find it really cheesy, corny, but this one I think is going to do good things. So, well, I mean, I love the series already, so I know this is like right my jam for sci-fi. So I'm going to start this tonight, and I'll update you later. Hi, it is Thursday, almost 5 o'clock. I've finished work. Went and picked up some stuff from the shops, and then I just got back my brain isn't working, it's running so slow. Last night ended up reading about 110 pages of Network Effect, so it is progressing. I'm hoping to finish it tonight. So I've only got like 250 pages, so I think it's like gonna be a slog but achievable, because this is really fast paced, so this series, so I think I could do it, but I'm gonna have to like focus. And then yeah, and then after that the next read for this vlog is gonna be, take a hint, Dani Brown. So that's exciting. But yeah, I am loving this already. Love Murderbot. I'm really interested to see how this develops as a full plot, because I mean, the others were all 150 pages. And this obviously has a lot more to it, I can see clearly, obviously. But I'm interested to see how it continues to build and develop. And if it's all going to maintain the kind of plot it's gotten into now, or whether there's going to be like secondary stuff going on, like a next section of action. Because I know there's definitely a lot you could do with what's going on at the moment. So I'm interested to see the direction it takes. Basically, did I tell you? Murderbot is like a sci-fi series following a security unit that's a augmented human, kind of. No, not quite. It's a human construct, I think they call it. So basically it's a human robot blend, and not just like an augmented human. And security units have this kind of reputation because they follow orders and they've got strict controls and stuff, but there was a group of sec units that, like, the whole job's about security of whoever they're hired for, but there was a whole group that went rogue. So this, like, they're relatively like feared by humans, and like they're like second class citizens while still being relatively human, and normally they have full neural control, stopping them for like a command thing that overrides any personal free will they have. But Murderbot calls themselves that, and they took over their own like command module, so they're technically fully in control of themselves, and it's great. They're super sassy, and they have like these weird bonds with people, and overall it's just really fun. So like the first four were kind of, the first three I guess was Murderbot trying to like figure out what went wrong when all these sec units like massacred people, and they were part of that, but like then overrode their command kind of thing, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. And then this one is much more like they're now kind of working as a free agent for a like peaceful person, and yeah, it's kind of bouncing off that. And it's so fun and so sassy. The narrative style is just like so good. Murderbot has such a great voice, and I am loving it. So can't wait to finish this hopefully tonight. Yeah. Good morning. It is Friday morning. I didn't quite finish Network Effect last night. I had like 30 pages left to finish this morning, but I just did it. So I loved this. We always knew I was gonna love this. I love Murderbot. It's such a good series. It's fun, it's fast-paced, it's action, it's sass, it's got emotional moments. It's just so good. It's like, what do you call it, like high sci-fi, like quite technologically detailed, but in a way that, to me at least, is super easy to understand, super readable. And like has the perfect balance between like too much tech detail and not enough tech detail, and it all just works. Nothing seems unfeasible, unrealistic within the constraints of this like sci-fi society. And I love all its reflections on capitalism and corporations and ownership, and yeah, It's just such a good series. This is 5 stars, obviously. And I can't wait for book 6, which I think comes out in like February or March. Super excited. It's another short one, I think, but I'm so excited about it. So 5 stars for Network Effect. My next read is gonna be Take a Hint, Dani Brown. I haven't started this yet, obviously, but I will start it very soon. But I'm gonna shower and get dressed and stuff and do a bit of work. But then once I've, like, in work breaks, so once I finished work, I'm gonna crack into this. It might not happen, but I'm gonna try and finish it tonight, like really all in one day. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see. Alright, so did I talk to you this morning? But today, it's Friday. I did work. And somehow around that and all evening, I read all of Take a Hint, Dani Brown. I adored this. I gave it 5 stars. Talia Hibbert writes amazing romance that just is like my right kind of people. It's not overly dramatic. They're really relatable in like the best way. Get a Life, Chloe Brown. I also rated 5 stars. I fucking loved it. Her female characters are like empowering but also realistic, and they're dealing with struggles but like in an organic and understandable way. Chloe was dealing with trauma from a bad breakup where she thought that her chronic illness was too much work for people and they didn't want to put in the effort for her. So she just couldn't comprehend people putting in an effort for her. And then Dani has been heartbroken before. She's kind of coded as having some neurodiverse traits, but I can't speak to that. Like, it's not outright on paper. But she feels like all these traits that lead her to be like career driven and stuff, including like obsessive, one-track mindedness, time blindness, things like that, make her unlovable because she can't provide what she expects a relationship to be for someone. So she's built up in her head this idea of what relationships should be, and she thinks she's bad at it and would never be good at it, so she just doesn't do relationships. And then yeah, both of the men are so good too. Like, Red in Get a Life, Chloe Brown is dealing with the fallout of an abusive relationship. His ex was really abusive, and he's trying to like deal with the trauma of that. And then Zafir, his love interest in Dani Brown, has had anxiety his whole life and dealt with the trauma of family members dying, and like you can see there's some common themes and beats, like it doesn't even matter. And Zafir is just like so wholesome, and it's kind of that like he's like, but and it's such like my level of brain too, of like, and I see it in relationships, like budding relationships all the time, people like, I just can't give what you want from me. Like, you're enjoying what you're doing right now. Why are you putting expectations on a relationship that doesn't exist yet? And he's so very much like, oh, what do you mean you can't do relationships? What do you think we've been doing this whole time? Like, this is fine. What else do you want? Like, what do you think I want? And he's just, yeah, so loving and caring and wholesome. And I just love the way she writes, like, pure affection between characters. Like, pure affection. I don't think I've read anything that was so intensely, like adoration between characters. Like, between love interests for each other. Like, it's just, oh. And then her sex scenes are really good, and detailed. Just really well developed, and I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. I want to read the next one straight away. When I finished Chloe Brown, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna like Dani Brown as much. Like, Dani didn't like speak to me immediately as a really interesting character. Where I was drawn to Chloe's like chronic illness and fat representation. Dani's also like chunky. I'd say like mid to plus size, and which I didn't realize until reading. And I hadn't been drawn to her character when she was presented in Chloe Brown. And then Eve, who's the other sister, the third book's gonna be about. I don't feel particularly drawn to her yet either. But reading this, I'm freaking loving Dani. I'm like, we're gonna love Eve. I'm so excited. There is a little like preview of it in the back here, but I'm not gonna read it because I don't want to get attached knowing the book is like so far away. I don't even think it has a title yet. So it'll be like a year away. But this is so good. I recommend it so wildly. And now we only have like one more book for this vlog, which is like I might be doing a low note. I don't know. I'm scared about this. I'm apprehensive. I just have no idea what to expect. So this is High Fire by Ian Colfer. Some of Ian Colfer's newest stuff I felt was kind of out of touch. Not fully, just like it felt a bit cheesy. Like the Warp series. I've read the first 2, I think, and I thought they were just a bit cheesy. But this is an adult fantasy with funnies, like a comedic adult fantasy, which in theory sounds great. Like I love Terry Pratchett, which is also adult comedy fantasy. But Ian Colfer's only written middle grade, like young YA and middle grade. So I don't know, like, yeah, I'm scared. I could either absolutely adore it and it's a 5 stars, or I could be like DNFing it 100 pages in. I'm unclear. But hey, at least we read Dani Brown. We got a high note of this vlog. Yeah, so this is going to be the last book. I'm going to try and read it over the weekend. I've got some other stuff I'm reading though as well for the next vlog. So we're just going to try and find some time to get to this amid everything else. So I'll talk to you when I've started on this. Alrighty, so I got barely 20 pages into this and I decided to DNF it. It just really was not what I was anticipating or expecting from it based on the original tagline. I think I'd read the synopsis and it kind of contradicted the tagline, but I was like, oh, like the tagline will still be a like decent part of the story, and it might be if I got further in. But so this was promised to me to be like the last dragon left in modern times, and he's an alcoholic. That's true, but primarily this is about other characters that kind of interact with him. For me, the writing style wasn't working very well. I think because Ian Colfer is an Irish author, but this was set in the Louisiana Bayou, and to me it felt really forced and it kept drawing me out of the story, this like setting and like southern writing style. So that really like drew me out. I was like having to reread sentences to even understand what was going on, and it mainly follows Squib and Constable Regent's Hook, or at least in the first. I only got 20 pages in, but like that's where it seemed to be going more than towards the dragon, and I wasn't enjoying them. It wasn't as funny as I thought it would be. I was nervous about this already, as you well knew. I was talking about it already, how I was nervous for this, and hey, I had a right to be. I'm DNFing it. But I don't even know what to say because there's nothing to say. I'll be unhauling it at some point. Though this is not turning me off Ian Colfer as a whole because I like his other stuff. that particular premise in that setting, like I knew the bayou was a thing, but I was expecting it to be much more focused on the dragon and less about like small town life on the bayou. You know what I mean? I feel like it's not his place to write that story. And it was relatively dark, like dealing with a lot of like poverty, and I don't know, it just felt very outside his lane and very much drawing me out of the writing style. Why am I not in focus? So that is the end for this vlog. What did we read in this vlog? We read The Sound of Stars on audiobook. No, A Song Below Water, which I gave 5 stars. It was absolutely amazing. I loved it. It's probably a 4.5, but we're rounding up for a marginalized author. Because yes, it was really fun, really entertaining, but also dealing with really hard subject matter. It was great. Which is a siren-y kind of book by Bethany Seymour. Then we'll listen to Sound of Stars by Alicia Dow, who's also a black, fat, queer author. It's only gone very foggy outside. Is it raining? It might be raining. And this is a sci-fi, and I enjoyed it as well, though it wasn't as good to me. It was a little bit cheesy. But not as cheesy as I thought it was going to be, and I gave it 4 stars. We also read and listened along to Empire of Gold by S.A. Chakraborty, which was the finale for the David Bad trilogy. I like this trilogy, but it has some things for me that don't make it a perfect series, mainly around the pacing and the like balance of lush descriptions versus like plot movement. So that was a 4 star, but like a high 4 star. Then we read The Kingdom of Back by Marie Lu. This is a historical fiction following the sister of Mozart, and I enjoyed this. I gave it 4 stars, but I do think it was kind of limited by some of the forced requirements of the historical setting. Just held back the narrative. We also read Network Effect by Martha Wells, which I gave 5 stars. It was fucking good. This is a high sci-fi series following Murderbot. It's book 5 in the Murderbot series. Fucking love this series. It's so good. It's so sassy. Gave it 5 stars. Then we read Take a Hint, Danny Brown, which is by Talia Hibbert, as a romance, funny, hilarious. Also gave it 5 stars. So good. Slammed through it all in one day yesterday. And then finally we've DNF'd High Fire by Ian Colfer, which we were just talking about. So that was this vlog. Look out for another one. Some highs. 3 5 stars. Mostly the rest were 4 stars and 1 DNF that I DNF'd really quickly. So I'm glad I didn't like make myself suffer through it, because that was what I was a bit scared of. I was like, no, I need to just make the call really early on if it's drawing me in or not. And it was not, so boom, out. Anyway, thanks so much for watching this vlog. Keep an eye out for the next one. It should be coming relatively soon. And we will be doing this again. 7 more new releases, 2020 releases. And I hope you enjoy. Thank you for watching this video. Bye.